All right, I had to take a little break, man. I had to get some water real quick. So now we're back. Next question is from James Cribben. What is your view on the recent PS4 hardware hiccups so far? Do you think they rushed to the market? My view, okay, well, let me get the first question. My view is that it sucks for the people affected, and Sony needed to make sure that this didn't happen, especially after the whole RROD incident, with the Xbox and even the Yellow Light of Death. The fact that this is happening now really just sucks. Do you think it was rushed to market? Yes. I remember Sony saying months ago that they didn't spend much on this, much money on R&D this time. Maybe that was a mistake. Well, Sony didn't spend as much R&D because it's not the cell processor. Proprietary, technology. They had to develop it from scratch as far as the CPU goes to increase the performance in their games. Very difficult, very high tech, very cutting edge for its time. With the PS4, they didn't do that. With the PS4, they just used off-the-shelf parts. They just used x86 architecture. So that's the only reason why they didn't spend as much money with R&D. So I think that this time it was the better route as far as what they did, but I just think that they didn't spend enough time. And yeah, I guess maybe that if they delay it for a year, that's more R&D. That's more money that they're losing. So I definitely think that it was rushed. I definitely think that they should have spent a little bit more time making sure that the system was more stable, and I definitely think they should have made sure that the power brick was on the outside of the system, not on the inside, for how powerful they were going for their hardware. Next question is from Nintendo Power. What's up, Nintendo Power? And he has a pretty long one here. It says, wow, what a long list of awesome questions. Yes, because the Playeressence community is awesome. Good luck, Francis. I'm fine. I'm doing great because there are so many. Well, I had one question. It would have to be after they're done this year, all the great first party platformers, will we finally see some Metroid, and will it be awesome that the other next gen games will pale in comparison to its art design, gameplay, and story? So, and hopefully adding a new lead character, a young man, maybe Samus' son, out to rescue his mom, which can be captured by Mother Brain and her collection of pirates. Okay, so he has a lot of different stuff. Yeah, I think when we finally see Metroid, because Metroid is coming, when we finally see Metroid, it's going to be like eye-popping. It's going to be like, oh wow, the Wii U's not as weak as people say. It's going to be eye-popping. It's going to be awesome because it's the same thing like what happened like Monolith Soft's X. I don't care what you say. You can put Monolith Soft's X side by side, in some of the screenshots and some of the videos. You can put it side by side by any PS4 and Xbox One game coming in. It's not going to be like, oh yeah, that game sucks. That game is graphically horrible. It's not like the Wii was to the PS3 and Xbox 360 where you put games side by side. It's just kind of like, oh man, that doesn't look good because it's SD. We're all HD now, and a lot of these games coming out next year are 1080p. I don't know what Monolith Soft's X is running in, but it's probably 720p. I mean, minimum 720p native. So it's not going to be a PS3 to Wii situation. You're gonna have games, and especially like with Nintendo's artists, like you said, with Nintendo's artists and their art design, you're gonna see games that really look great and can really compare to, I think, PS4 and Xbox One games. Because from what I've seen, Titanfall, which is a true next generation game, on the Xbox One and PC, from what I've seen of Infamous Second Son, from what I've seen from these games that are designed specifically, that are not even coming out, at the launch, so they're not maybe not as rushed. From what I've seen from those games, it doesn't seem like Monolith Soft's X is so far behind where it's like a Wii to PS3 comparison. So I think when Nintendo gets the hang of their hardware, which they're doing, and they start showing off like a Metroid game, that's going to be awesome. Now, as far as all the other stuff, I don't know. I just want to play games. I don't really care about what happens with I just want to play great games. So whatever they're cooking up, that'd be great. All right, let's see here. And I think he has one more question. Can Nintendo make an online-focused war game to quench Nintendo gamers' thirst for better online warfare than just COD? Maybe like a revamped Conduit. Nintendo could. I don't know. I'm not sure if Nintendo, like let's say Nintendo's core teams would be the ones to do it. That's not necessarily their specialty. But I definitely think somebody like Retro could do something like that, or somebody like Next Level Games maybe could do something like that, or maybe even, I don't know, Monster Games, or you can get somebody else to make something like that. I would probably say Retro would be the best candidate to do that. Maybe a Metro game could have some type of online multiplayer, or Nintendo could even, find a different studio to do it, find somebody else to do it. So I think that they can, but A revamped Conduit would be very nice. A revamped Conduit would be like a reimagined with the Conduit 1 and revamp it with better. Man, that would be great. I would buy that in a heartbeat. All right. Next question is from Chris. He has a couple questions here. What is your thoughts on the Uncharted series? They're very linear, script it laughable like Drake is a 14-year-old teenager and unoriginal. It's trash compared to the Mass Effect series gameplay-wise, besides 3. My opinion of the Uncharted series is that it's a graphical showcase for Sony's systems. The gameplay in Uncharted is wafer thin. I think the gunplay is horrible in Uncharted, and I think really what makes Uncharted what people like it for is the graphics and I don't know, the explosions and the movie type, the cinematic gameplay. And yeah, compared to Mass Effect 2, Uncharted is a flaming piece of crap compared to Mass Effect 2 and 1. It's absolutely nothing compared to those two games. 3, yeah, maybe. The jury's out on 3. I like 3, but I don't like 3 more than I like 2. I think 2 is the pinnacle of third-person shooters. Uncharted doesn't touch 2 in any way, shape, or form. It's not even close. Yeah, it's not even close. And the next question. In your opinion, what was the worst fanboy reaction ever and why? The worst fanboy reaction? Bayonetta. Bayonetta 2 being a Wii U exclusive. Oh, I want to kill myself. I'm going to shank the people that work at Platinum Games. Oh, you guys are crazy. Oh my god, I don't want to play this on the stupid Wii U. What if I want to play it on my PS3 and 360? What if I want to play it on PS4? Like, they don't even understand why the game is on Wii U to begin with. Nintendo did a money hat like Microsoft and Sony and steal this from them. Platinum Games have been trying to get this game made and nobody wanted it because the game did not sell anywhere near as well as it should have on the PS3 and 360. And before some of you guys say, no, well, the VG charts or the number, it actually sold a lot more. The game sold like at $20 brand new, you know what I'm saying, late in its life. The beginning, the initial sales were not good enough. It did not sustain its $60 price tag long enough. The game was discounted to $40 like a month after it was out, you know. So Platinum Games did not sell as much as they wanted. They did not make as much money for a new IP. And Microsoft and Sony didn't want it. So Nintendo swooped in and got it. So that was the worst fanboy reaction. There were people, death threats, talking about people wanted to kill Nintendo, kill Platinum Games. I mean, I think Mega 64, you can look it up. Mega 64 actually did a video on this. And when Mega 64 makes fun of something, you know it's a big deal and you know it's pretty bad. So Mega 64, they did a pretty funny video on the Bayonetta 2 fanboys. So, or Bayonetta fanboys or PS3 360 fanboys rage over Bayonetta 2. So that was probably the worst reason, because there were death threats and all sorts of crazy stuff going on, and without even understanding the context of why it is that way, you know. It's not like Titanfall with, you know, Microsoft, you know, and all that. So, yeah. Next question. This is the third one. If you have a gun to your head and had to choose between X or No, he says if you have a gun to your head and had to choose between X or Fire Emblem Cross Shin Megami Tensei, which would you pick and why? You, Chris, whoever you are, I want to talk to you. Don't do this to me. Oh my god, I want to quit this Q&A right now. I want to quit. We've seen more of Monolith Soft's X. So as of right now, I would have to pick Monolith Soft's X just because we've seen more. But I will come back to this question when we finally see more of Fire Emblem Cross Shin Megami Tensei, because that could be the greatest game ever made. No joke. I honestly think if they take what Fire Emblem Awakening did and if they put that on a console with the type of graphics the Wii U is capable of, with the mechanics from Shin Megami Tensei, which is a fantastic game on the 3DS, by the way, Shin Megami Tensei 4. If they can, Atlas and Intelligent Systems, if they can combine their forces to make a game that is superior to Fire Emblem Awakening, which Fire Emblem Awakening I like more than Xenoblade Chronicles, okay? So let me just point that out right there. so I'm not biased towards Monolith Soft or anything like that. If they can make a game that is superior to Fire Emblem Awakening in every way, and it has the graphics, it can easily, and the gameplay is awesome, it can easily be, if I had a gun to my head, that one. But I have to come back to that question, you know, because we haven't seen enough of Shin Megami Tensei, so it's not necessarily fair right now. But right now, I'm in X, but I will come back to this question on my next Q&A. When we finally get more information, we're going to come back to this one, and I'll give you a definitive answer. All right, and he says, please do more Q&As, which, yes, I will be doing more Q&As. Why am I here, asks, is there any Nintendo franchises that you would love to see returning or rebooted on the Wii U and or 3DS? I personally would love to see another Next Level Games made Punch-Out. Yes, I love Punch-Out. Played it, beat everything, beat the extra mode after that. Mr. Sandman was crazy to beat. What retro franchises? Yes, I would like to see, let's see, retro. So, I would love to see, I mean, if you could talk about Star Fox, I would love to see another Star Fox. I would love to see, like a real Double Dragon, like, not this crap they call on the Xbox Live, not that, like a real Double Dragon, like with combo mechanics and stuff like that, like a really good made Double Dragon would be fantastic. I think, what else? You know, that's really it. I mean, Double Dragon, Star Fox would be great. Another F-Zero would be great. Another quality, maybe like an Earthworm Jim would be good. Another one with blistering difficulty would be fantastic. So yeah, those are kind of the ones that I would really like to see. And Punch Out, that would be great as well. I love Punch Out. Sorry, and probably my biggest one, I have a couple more. My biggest one would be Chrono Trigger. Chrono Trigger needs to come back in any way, shape, or form. I did a video on this, top RPG franchises that need to come back, you know, or top games that need to come back, and Chrono Trigger, Skies of Arcadia needs to come back. Yeah, all those need to come back. Jade Empire needs to come back, but as far as like classic goes, Chrono Trigger would be my number one. Chrono Trigger needs to come back. Revolution 5268 asks two questions actually. Why is there people saying that Nintendo can't advertise while Sony is guilty of the same thing with the PS Vita? Double standards, Chris. Yes, there's a double standard, and it's because people see the PS Vita as old news, and it's Sony, so of course they try to bury it and try to put Nintendo at the forefront to blast Nintendo. And people say that Nintendo can't advertise, which Nintendo's own fans are saying that they can't advertise, because the thing is Nintendo is not advertising to the core gamers anymore. This year they are not advertising to the core gamers because they feel that the core gamers like us already know about Nintendo's products. They already know what's coming out. They have Nintendo Direct. They feel that all of us watch them because they're looking at their numbers and seeing core gamers are watching this. This is getting a lot of traction. Nintendo is marketing to kids and to families. The only advertisements you're going to see, I saw people say that there's some on like USA or something like that, but you're going to see the bulk of advertising is going to be on Disney, is going to be on Cartoon Network, and is going to be on Nickelodeon. Those are where the bulk of advertising is going to be, and a lot of core gamers are like, oh, they can't advertise. I don't see any advertisements because they don't watch those networks. I have a little girl, and me and her, we watch Cartoon Network and all of that all the time, so I'm always seeing advertisements for Nintendo's games, for the Wii U, Mario and Sonic at the Olympic Games, Pikmin 3, Super Mario 3D World commercials have been running like crazy. So I've seen Just Dance commercials for Wii U advertising the Wii U version. I've seen Disney Infinity advertising the Wii U version. So I see Wii U commercials all the time. But people who say that they don't is because, and they can't advertise, is because they don't watch those networks or they don't watch them enough. I see them all the time on all of those channels. So me and my little girl, she sees it all the time. She points at the Wii U like, hey, you got one, Dad? I'm like, yeah, I got one. When you're old enough, you can play. All right, next question. And also, does the general public even know that the Xbox One is a video game console? I think so. I've talked to people in the general public. I think the casuals don't know, and maybe the families don't know about the Xbox One, but usually like the people who know about the Xbox, they know about that. But here's another quick fact. I watch those channels all the time, like Disney, Cartoon Network, and all that. There's no commercials for the Xbox One or PS4 on those commercials. There are none. So the people who watch like the sports and the people who watch like, you know, NBC and stuff like that, they know about the Xbox One. They know about it. But to be like kids, little kids maybe, or people who watch like Disney and the families, there's no commercials for those systems on there. There's no commercials for the Xbox One and PS4 on there. So, I mean, who knows? Next question. Dark Shadow M99. How do you feel about the many video game responses to the Sonic fanbase outcry against Sonic Lost World's mixed reviews and little to no video from anyone about the Sony fanboys outcries to Shadowfall's mixed reviews? Well, because Killzone is not a very big franchise, no matter how much the media likes to make it to be, or like how much people talk about it, the graphics and stuff. It's not as big as a franchise as Sonic. Sonic has been around for a long time. It has a bigger installed fan base than Killzone. And it's just more lineage, more legacy. So that's why you're going to see that. And Sonic fans have been known to be a little crazy, so that's the reason why people are looking for hits, people are looking for views, and people talk about the controversial stuff. So of course on YouTube, you're going to see people making videos about Sonic, because Sonic immediately draws your attention, whereas Killzone, that doesn't. You know what I'm saying? It's a shooter that's been around since, at the end of the PS2 generation, whereas Sonic has been around since the late 80s, early 90s, so that's the reason why you're getting that. As far as the outcry against Killzone Shadowfall, I mean, and even so, like if you compare the two games, Killzone Shadowfall's reviews have not been great, but they haven't been horrible, whereas Sonic Lost World's reviews have just been horrible. There's more controversy, because a lot of the bad reviews for them are very bad. Like IGN's review is horrible. They don't talk about Miiverse, they don't talk about multiplayer, they don't talk about a lot of things that are in the game. They just keep on making references to, it's not like the old games, so I mean, and that's another reason why you're having the huge YouTube videos, because not only are they bad reviews, but the people are angry about them because of what's said in the review, and so that's the reason why you're getting that. All right, next question. So there's 3 topics. We're gonna talk about that later. Titan64 asks, who do you think has the worst fan community? To avoid any Jimmys being rustled, the big 3 are prohibited. The worst fan community? I'm not sure. Maybe Call of Duty? Somebody says League of Legends community by far. I would say maybe Call of Duty. I don't know. I really don't know who has the worst community. Some people would say the Sonic community is pretty crazy. I don't know. I've played Call of Duty before. I've seen the people that play Call of Duty. I don't like playing Call of Duty. I don't like people who play, like the hardcore people who play that game. So I don't know. Maybe the shooter, people who like shooting games. Maybe that community is the worst. All right. Ed Nice asks, hey Francis, do you think that there's any chance Persona 5 will be coming to Wii U? Yes, I think there's a high possibility that game comes to Wii U. I would say 50% or more. Now that Sega owns it, Nintendo needs to work out a deal with Sega to get that game on Wii U, plain and simple. It better happen, or I'm going to be very mad at Nintendo if they don't get that to happen, or if Sega doesn't do it themselves. Alright. Next question, another one from Ed Nice. You're probably not the right person to ask this, but here it goes. Do you think Sega's final exclusive might be Sonic Adventure 3? Yeah, I already talked about it. I said, yeah, maybe it's Sonic Adventure 3. I'm not sure, but who knows? Titan64 asks, and one final question, and it's regards to Nintendo fan demands. We have seen Nintendo give us an online Wii Sports game, and yet people didn't like it. Nintendo is giving us Nintendo Network IDs for their console and handheld, and people don't like it. And now we have Miiverse with the news that the messaging system won't come on launch, and people don't like it. And now people want voice chat, which is very unnecessary since I do play some PC games that don't have it at all, and are still fun to play with or without friends. My question is, do you think Nintendo fans should stop throwing fits whenever we get something we have been requesting and it's not 100% what we want? It's honestly getting tiring. Well, I think that Microsoft and Sony offer a lot of things that Nintendo doesn't. Microsoft and Sony don't care about younger fan bases that play the game for the most part. They don't care about that stuff. Nintendo does. So Nintendo has to be very vigilant about what they do. Now, some games have voice chat. Pokemon X and Y has voice chat. Even like I think the DS games had voice chat. Those games have voice chat. So it's not like Nintendo's not giving us any voice chat in any of the games. Now, they still have their online games coming up, so we'll see if those games have voice chat. They did do a survey that asked if you guys want voice chat, so maybe the voice chat will be in those games. So it's not like 100% no Nintendo games have voice chat. Pokemon games do. People complain because it's not the norm for Microsoft and Sony. For the industry, it's not the norm. Microsoft and Sony usually have voice chat in every single online game. So people don't understand why Nintendo isn't doing the same thing, so that's why they don't like it. Which is understandable, which is 100% understandable. With Miiverse, people, as far as the messaging system, like I said, people don't like the fact that they won't be able to message because, because it's the norm on the other systems. So until Nintendo starts making, the norm, people are going to continue to complain. As far as Wii Sports, people don't like it because it came out as a free game on the Wii, but on this one we have to pay for it. And they don't like the fact that they have to pay for something they felt that was free last generation. So it's just people complaining because of those reasons. I can't necessarily say they're wrong or they're right. I can't necessarily say anything like that. That's their opinion. There's nothing wrong with having their opinion. If they want to complain, let them complain. The biggest thing to do, if you think it's so bad, or if people that are complaining think it's so bad, then don't buy the product. And if they don't buy the product, Nintendo will get the hint. If enough people aren't buying the product because there's no online voice chat, or if the Wii U isn't selling as much because there's problems like with no party chat and things like that, Nintendo better change things or people won't buy it. So we will see. We will see if this really affects people, and if enough people have a problem with it, people aren't going to buy their products, then Nintendo's going to have to change their policies. So let the dollar do the talking. If there's enough people, it is. And I tell everybody who is complaining about those things, that's cool to complain and say what you want to say, but the real thing to do, if it's such a bad thing, then don't buy the game. For me, I don't like how Microsoft is going. I don't like the fact that they shifted their focus off from getting a lot of Japanese RPGs and more variety into more shooters and stuff like that. And I haven't been complaining. I haven't been making video after video after it. I just don't buy the product. So Microsoft isn't getting my money. So that's what I do. I don't complain and cry and whine and make videos. I just don't buy the product. So this is me. All right, next question is from Rubix. What's up, Rubix? She's a big fan. Rubix8702. Salutations, Francis. What do you think about the rumored engine from Retro? Do you possibly think they could pull a huge shocker and tell everyone that they indeed are working on the next Wii U Zelda? I'm totally wishful thinking on this, but a girl can dream. Yes, a girl can dream. So can guys. What do you think of the Wii U momentum shift thus far? Also, too, what surprises, if any, do you think Nintendo will drop at E3 2014? Next year promises to be epic, and I say promising, but I don't want to get your thoughts up on the matter. But I'd like to get your thoughts on the matter. Thanks for taking my question, or thanks for taking my question if you do. Okay, so for your first question, what do I think about the rumored engine? It's happening. The engine's happening. They're not going to use a Donkey Kong Country Tropical Freeze engine to make their next game. Miyamoto even said himself that they're big enough to work on 2 games. Retro hired a bunch of people that worked at Naughty Dog and worked at Vigil, the people who made like Darksiders 2. So like THQ, they hired a bunch of people from those places. They're not hiring those people to make Donkey Kong. They're going to make a 3D game, and it's something. Now, is it going to be Zelda? I don't know, but if Retro was to make Zelda and it looked awesome, that's great. I just want to play games. People get so caught up in who's making what and what's doing what. Look, I want to play great games. If Retro can make a great Zelda, thumbs up. Bring it on. Girl, please bring it on. So yeah, that's for your first question. Could they pull a huge shocker? Yeah, they could pull a huge shocker. Will it be Zelda? I don't know. Maybe it's something else. Maybe they're working on F-Zero. Maybe they're working on Star Fox. Maybe they're working on, who knows what they're working on? Maybe they're working on all sorts of stuff. We don't know. So we will see. We will see. What do I think of the Wii U momentum shift thus far? I think it's tempered. It's getting there. Nintendo has pretty much matched their last I think it's Q2 total for Wii U sold. They sold 300,000 units they've already maxed that down. They've already pretty much sold within 30,000, which is to be expected. They have some more software coming out. I think that Super Mario 3D World needs to be a big performer. I think that Mario and Sonic at the Olympic Games needs to pull some extra people in, and I think that Wii Fit U needs to really pull some people in. I think they're going to have an okay, not a spectacular holiday season, but I think they're going to have an okay season. I think 2014 is really the proving ground. If Nintendo doesn't prove in 2014 with the software lineup that they have, if they don't prove in 2014 that they can move this off the shelves, then definitely I'm going to say there's going to be somewhat of an issue. But I think the momentum is fine, and I think the games coming out are good. So I think we just need to all just kind of be, of course, get ready for Super Mario 3D World. If you like Mario and Sonic at the Olympic Games, pick that up. Wii Sports Club is out. Get some Wii Fit U on. Lose a couple extra pounds. I know I need to, so I'm going to be doing that. Country Tropical Freeze early next year. Shunin, their next game is coming out. We got Mario Kart in the spring, so I think the momentum is going to carry. I think 2014 is when the really big, multi-million-dollar hitters really go. You know what I'm saying? Like the 10+ million hitters, like Mario Kart and like Smash Bros. And the potential like Zelda. Those are all going to bring in a lot of people and bring a lot of momentum to the system. So, yep. What do you think Nintendo will drop at E3 2014? I'm calling it right now. Nintendo shows Zelda. Of course, they show in-depth Zelda. Nintendo shows Metroid, or they show Star Fox. And Nintendo also shows off like more of the reimagined games. And I think that Nintendo will also bring back one classic franchise that I will not talk about. All right, next question is from Players Choice Network. What's up, man? He's a big fan of the site. I understand that even with the power the Wii U has, it still won't get a lot of Western third-party support. True. My question is, seeing the 3DS is selling very well without tons of third-party support from Western devs as well, do you think if Nintendo shifted its direction on Wii U to have similar games on Wii U that Wii and 3DS gets to become a more standout console over PS4 and Xbox One? For example, more RPGs, Pokemon on Wii U, puzzlers and platformers, heavy titles, and still maintaining a pure motion control gaming experience, as well as on-rails games like No More Heroes or Skyward Sword. Okay, let's see. Or he says, sorry, I think I messed up the last part. He says, as well as on-rail shooters and games like No More Heroes and Skyward Sword. So he wasn't saying that No More Heroes and Skyward Sword are on-rail games. Okay, so yes, I think Nintendo is showing, at least with this year, that they're kind of bringing back the Wii and the Wii part in the Wii U. You got Mario and Sonic. You got Pikmin 3 basically just used motion controls, with the pointer. Wii Remote, that was the best way to control it. You have Wii Sports Club. You have, Super Mario 3D World. That's more of a, the fun-loving atmosphere type of game. You can play it with just the Wii Remote by itself. Next year, it's a little bit different. Next year, there are some more games for core gamers. That's not more, that you would see like No More Heroes or Skyward Sword. But I definitely think Nintendo needs to. I think that Wii Sports was rushed. I think that Nintendo, their plan from the beginning was bad. I don't like the fact that they tried to cater towards the hardcore, third-party gamers. I don't like that because it resulted in us not getting Wii Sports, at launch. Wii Sports Club should have been the game pack-in with the Wii U. There should have been Wii Sports Club, and there should have been all sorts of mini games. It should have been a double pack. It should have been like a Nintendo Club or Nintendo Land packed in with Wii Sports Club and interaction between the two, online multiplayer. That's what it should have been, and there should have been a Wii Remote Plus packed into with the Wii U, and motion controls with the Wii should have been the very thing that gets gamers excited. They should have had that, and they should have had the core titles. The core title, like the Zelda or something like the beginning, or like the New Super Mario Bros. Like they did with the Wii. The Wii had the motion control gaming for the expanded audience and the core Nintendo fans, and they had the hardcore game, which was Zelda, for the core fan base. And that's why everyone's like, buy a Wii right now. You got Zelda and you got Wii Sports right out of the box. Bam. You can get those two games and be happy for months, And I think that they realized that we made a big mistake trusting third parties, and we made a big mistake going with just the core mechanic would be the Wii U Gamepad, and let's just forget the Wii remotes and forget motion control gaming. They made a mistake, and that's why you're seeing, I think they scrambled to make Wii Sports Club. I think they're like, oh crap, and that's why you're seeing this weird structure for Wii Sports Club where it's like $10 per game, and they're releasing games later because they're not finished. because there's no way they can make a quality game with all the stuff that they're adding to Wii Sports in less than a year's time. I don't really think that this Wii Sports Club has been in development for very long. I think it's been in development I think it didn't take them anything more than maybe 5 or 6 months to develop this thing. I think they realized after like the sales started tapering off in March, or even before that, like, oh crap, this isn't good. We need to get this. We need to change our direction of focus, and I think that's when it hit him with the marketing. You know what I'm saying? And that's why you didn't see anything, because Nintendo completely changed their marketing from focusing on core gamers to focusing on families and extended audience, because they knew that they could not rely on third parties to put content on their system, and they knew that the core gamers were not, feeling this system as much, or the gamers online. They read the online forums and posts just as much as we do. So that's the reason why. Now, will we see more? Yes, Nintendo is shifting. Nintendo is going to shift. They're going to start bringing games that you would see on the 3DS onto the Wii U. They're going to start, I think there's going to be a Pokemon game. They need to start doing that, puzzles, platforms. They need to start filling those gaps, the reimagined games. Those games need to all come out. Nintendo needs to worry about themselves, plain and simple. The third parties that want to be on for the ride, like Sega, if you guys want to be on for the ride, great, hop on. If you don't, Nintendo needs to just say whatever. Nintendo needs to provide enough content to entice people to buy their system despite the bad third-party support, because look at the 3DS. The 3DS will probably outsell the Xbox One and PS4. I'm pretty sure it's going to outsell them, because the 3DS has so much content, and the 3DS has so many exclusives that are built specifically for the system. People don't care that there's not as much Western third-party support. Now, there's a lot of Japanese support for the system, but not necessarily all of it here in America, but some of it comes over. But anyway, Nintendo needs to follow that emulation, that formula that the 3DS is doing. I also think that Nintendo needs to offer some type of discount. If you purchase a 3DS, you need to be able to get $25 off of a Wii U or $50 off on a Wii U. I really think that they need to do that, because people are purchasing the 3DS in droves. Hey, get their foot in the door and say, hey, you want a Wii U too? Add some functionality between the two. Now with Miiverse, add some functionality, add some type of cross support like Sony's doing. Give them some money off, and I guarantee you Wii U sales would pick up more, and people that have the 3DS would pick up the Wii U. But you're exactly right. Nintendo needs to market the people buying the 3DS. If you have a 3DS and you don't have a Wii U, Nintendo needs to really hone in on those guys, because the 3DS is going to sell well. Nintendo should be thinking, hey, we want a 1-to-1 ratio. We want everybody who has a 3DS to have a Wii U. We want everybody that has that. So if they can bring out the big games that they usually make for consoles, plus those small games that the 3DS fans like, but they can bring it onto the Wii U, not necessarily the same games, not like what Sony's doing where you're adding, both games, then like PlayStation All-Stars, not that, but just games like that. You know what I'm saying? Games that have that handheld games, handheld fans like Mario Kart. They love that on the handheld. So they love it on the consoles too. So stuff like that in between the big releases like you were talking about. So I agree 100%, and I think that you're going to see more of that in the future. All right, next question is from Kerbizzle. What's up, Kerbizzle? Hey, Francis, what do you expect to see on the Wii U on the topic completely unannounced titles? Like I said, Miss Walker's new game. I expect to see maybe Metroid. I expect to see Zelda. I expect to see F-Zero maybe. So yeah, that's what I expect to see. The Playeressence community is fantastic. How do you manage to keep like this? I try to do good moderation. I try to keep my own opinions in check sometimes. Although I do sometimes have strong opinions, but I try to keep them in check. And I have people like Ricard Giuliani. I have people like Players Choice Network. I have guys like you, Kerbizzle. I have guys like Rubik. I also have girls like Rubik's. Sorry, Rubik's. I have just people that really say a lot of nice things. Even when people say mean things about my website or about me, I have a lot of people that will say nice things about me and my website. So that's why it really does that. I have guys like Auntie. I don't know if you've seen Auntie, who really helped with giving me a lot of articles in the contact section. I have guys like Griffin of Might. I have just a lot of great people. I have Titan, Wesley Matthews, guys that really come to the site and really promote it, and people who post my stuff on Reddit or post my stuff on N4G, and I think JCNBA, he always posts my stuff on there. Like I said, Ricard does it. I have a lot of people that really help me out. And that's why I have a great community, because of you guys. You guys say nice things to other people, then other people come on and join the community, because I try to keep things positive. And I'm not negative. I don't bash Nintendo. And if I have something bad to say about Nintendo, like for instance, like achievements, which I really want, you guys know that I want Nintendo to do that, I'll say it. I have issues that I think that are particular, in this case, and I think that the people who follow this network and the people who come to this site have those same views. You know what I'm saying? They're not worried about the graphics and some of the other stupid stuff that people just like to get upset about. They're more worried about what's the core aspect of something, or what's the core aspect of gameplay, or just games in general. So that's why the website is so cool. And I've banned a lot of people, by the way. I've banned probably over 200 people. So that's another reason why the community is not as bad as other sites, because I ban people. But the funny thing is, I ban those people from commenting, but they still come to my site. So you know that they're just trolls, and they're trolls in disguise, because they love my site but they hate me. So it's just funny. And there's a very big troll on YouTube that comes to my site all the time, but he said my site was incredible, and he said that he doesn't like me, and he's made fun of me all so much, but he's told me that he likes my YouTube channel, yet he makes fun of it all the time, and he likes my website, and it has no credibility, but he watches my videos and comes to my website. That's the funniest thing about the trolls that come to my site, because I can see, just to let you guys know, I can see everybody's IP. I can see repeat IPs. I know everybody's IP that comes on here, who logs on here. And people that I banned, their IPs show up in my dashboard. And it's the same people who have bashed my site, coming to my site all the time and looking at multiple stuff. So it's just, I just find it funny, especially this big YouTuber who says all this bad stuff about me, yet he's always coming to my site. Anyway, next question from King Spartacle? I think that's how it is. Do you believe this may be the last console war? No. Do you believe the PS4 may be the last Sony platform? No. How many unannounced Wii U exclusives do you predict for next year? 3 or 4. And he says, edit. Wow, Francis, your site became much more popular since the last time you posted the same Mega Playeressence QA session. I wonder how it will be like in a year. How will you even cope with answering so many questions? I want to thank you guys, the community. I think I've done a good job of promoting, and I think like I said, a lot of other people have done a good job of helping me promote this site because of the community, because of the atmosphere. But I also think that there's also work to be done. I post a lot. I work maybe 14 to 15 hours a day on this site, and I take care of my daughter at the same time. So I just try to do my best, and I think that's why it's grown. By next year, I'm hoping to grow this site by more. I want this to be you guys' site. I want to be able to have the money to go and do more things and bring you guys more coverage and do more giveaways and do more stuff and buy stuff and have raffles and giveaways and stuff like that. I want to be able to do that. So if you guys continue telling your friends about this site, continue coming to the site, continue posting it on N4G, continue telling other people or posting it on different websites, man, that'd be great. Let's grow this thing together. This is our site, you know what I'm saying? It's not my site, it's our site for everybody to come here and have a good time and be able to not see the incessant Nintendo bashing. That's my main thing with the site, not to just see the Nintendo bashing, and that's one of the main reasons why I made this site, just because I was tired of it. I want a site where I can get all my news without just that bashing of Nintendo just because they don't have graphics as good as Microsoft and Sony. So, yeah, man, I'm glad, and you're one of the guys that comes here all the time, man. So I really thank you, and I thank everybody who's helping. And how will I cope with answering that many questions, man? Because I'm gonna do it, man. I'm gonna do it for you guys. I'm gonna split up into parts. I'm just gonna keep at it, man. Because you guys drive me to do my best on this site. So I'm gonna cope with it. Don't worry. I'm gonna make sure I got enough time to answer all the questions. All right. Next question comes from the Full Metal Hokage, which is probably one of the best names I've ever heard of. Donkey Kong Country Tropical Freeze is almost here. With that said, Retro is probably already underway with this next project. Yes, they are, given how big that studio has become lately. So my question is, what would you like to see from them work on next? So I would like to either see Zelda or Metroid. Let's see here. Okay, and the funny thing about this question is that not many people expected Donkey Kong Country Tropical Freeze going into E3. So your answer right now might be the same as your pre-3 answer. No, I would like to see their next question. I'd like to see Donkey Kong, or not Donkey. I'd like to see Metroid or Zelda. Because of that, would you mind giving a few answers? Also, your ideas on gamepad integration would be cool. For Donkey Kong, gamepad. Are you asking for Donkey Kong gamepad integration? I don't think they really need to use it much. I mean, you might be able to tap some stuff. I'm not sure. They don't need to use it much though. Just old school. As far as gamepad integrations for Metroid, I'd love to be able to aim, like hone in, with the gamepad, like zombie, like sniper mode. I'd love to be able to do that with Metroid. Be able to scan things very quickly, not have to use the analog stick. Just be able to just boom, scan, be able to do that. Being able to have my HUD and all my information as far as going into like the screens and stuff like that Metroid usually does on my gamepad, like a Pip-Boy. For that, being able to switch weapons on the fly, stuff like that. Being able to change visors on the fly with the gamepad. Just being able to press a button and just go like that. Those are my ideas for gamepad integration with Metroid. All right, next question is from Marquee MX. Hey Francis, my question is about Nintendo's game output. Since third parties have somewhat given Nintendo the cold shoulder, what type of output do you expect from Nintendo EAD and first party partners? I.e., will Monosoft release more than X this generation to compensate for the lack of support of Square Enix? Yes. Will Retro have to work on futuristic shooter, probably not Metroid, but a new IP in order to make up for Battlefield, Mass Effect, and coming to Wii U? Yeah, I think that Nintendo's output has to be greater. I talked about this earlier. Nintendo needs to do more. If there's one of my disappointments with Nintendo this far is them not doing more and them not expecting more. Now they're getting their stuff together in 2014, and even 2013 had at the end of the year you started to see Pikmin, you started to see more titles come, but Nintendo really needs to ramp things up. That reimagined needs to happen. Like after now I don't want them to rush their games. I just want them to get more of these outside studios to help them with games, like they did with Wind Waker HD. Wind Waker HD proved that there's a market for that. Nintendo needs to speed that up. Yes, Nintendo needs to compensate. If Mass Effect 4 isn't coming to the Wii U, they should have Retro Studios make some type of futuristic RPG. It doesn't have to be like Mac, doesn't have to copy them, but yeah, they need to have that. They need to have some studio make their version or something like Battlefield or something like that to compensate for that. Yes, Nintendo needs to support themselves. Will it cost Nintendo more money? Yes, but there's money to be made, and the 3DS is killing. So they can rely on 3DS money, and they can also bump up the output as far as the Wii U goes. They need to. That's something they need to do. They need to update their OS. They need to update certain things as far as their system features go. They need to make sure they have. I want to be able to connect to people voice chat instead of just video chat. I want to be able to connect people in cross game chat, stuff like that. Those are the things that Nintendo needs to do to compete, and I think that those are the things that Nintendo will do, and they're showing that they have to. Will it all come soon or as soon as people want? Probably not, but it's going to happen. I think bit by bit Nintendo will get things together. And I think the game output for next year is already looking promising. So yeah, I 100% agree. Next question is from Aaron Brandon. What are your expectations from second screen implementation? How well MS and Sony attempts turn out given they rely on separate devices? My expectations, it depends on the game. Now, if it's playing like Zelda, of course, my expectations are going to be inventory screen, all that. I expect it to be great. I expect all dual screen gaming for certain games to be great. I think some games do it well and some games don't. If it doesn't do it well, then I don't have, if it's a game that doesn't need it, then I don't really have much expectations. But RPGs, I have high expectations, really high expectations for it. As far as, in my opinion on Sony and Microsoft, I don't think it's very good. Because the thing is, you need separate devices and you can't do the same thing. Like for instance, like Smart Glass, there's no buttons on a Smart Glass. So really, all that's really good for is being able just to display information. You can't necessarily play it. I think Beyond Two Souls has some type of thing where you can put like some hacked on co-op mode or tacked on co-op mode that you can do, but it's not the same as somebody having controllers and a button for dual screen gaming out of the box and it being implemented so well like Wind Waker HD. Will we see other developers take advantage of that as far as Sony and Microsoft goes? We'll see, because you need a separate device. So I don't think many companies are going to take advantage of that. Now, are we going to see remote play and little features here and there? Yeah, but nothing's going to be as good as Nintendo's. Even like what Nintendo's done with the Wind Waker HD, I doubt games will be that good. You also have to think about lag and latency and problems. And the worst would probably be Microsoft Smart Glass, because only certain tablets work. It's a tablet, it wasn't really built for it in mind. There's different varying speeds. I mean, I don't think it's going to be very great. Sony's will come in next because remote play has been built in for somewhat, has been thought about ahead of time and been built in. So I mean, I think remote play works okay for the most part. But I doubt we'll see stuff that we see on the Wii U because the fastest latency is on Wii U and it's out of the box. So my expectations aren't really too high for Microsoft and Sony because I don't think they're going to be very good. All right, next question comes from Jewel Ryder. Hey there, I know this is one question that got me wondering a lot. As we know, the PS Vita will have the PS Vita TV, which will do more than expected and will be able to play games that are supposed to be transportable games. Or portable games. This reminded me of a game system set that has happened before. This being so far a dynamic duo that I hope will happen here. I'm talking about the Super Game Boy for the SNES and the Game Boy Advance Player for the Nintendo GameCube. I do wonder if you think that we will get something like this for the Wii U. We do got 2 screens for the games, and it could even compatible with the 3DS in a sense. Thus, I almost can't wait if that's true. There might be a great uprise of videos if this happens. This is a question from Triple Y Yin Yang Yao. Thank you. Could Nintendo do something like this? Yes, I think the one thing Nintendo is scared of is they're scared of people not buying the 3DS. They're scared of people saying, "Oh, well, you can just get on the Wii U player. Okay, well, I'll just do that." So I think that's one thing Nintendo's scared of. Will it happen? I don't know. I don't know if it will happen. It didn't happen with the Wii, so I'm not sure if it will happen with the 3DS. Now, will I like it? Yes, because I will be able to capture footage from 3DS games and be able to review 3DS games without having stupid off-screen like I had to do with Pokemon X and Y. I would love to do more 3DS reviews. I would love to do more direct feed footage of Fire Emblem and Luigi's Mansion and Mario Bros. And Mario Kart. I would love to do that because the 3DS has so many games right now, and I'd love to bring you guys that. But I can't because of the off-screen, because it's so hard to capture footage for me. I don't have a 3DS capture card, and those things are weird to get. So yeah, I would love for there to be that. Like if the PS Vita comes to America for $99, I'm getting it because I want to bring you guys footage of PS Vita games direct feed. I'm getting it just because it'll be good for me as a YouTuber. And for what I'm going to be announcing soon. So yeah, I would want it, but I don't know if Nintendo's going to do it. All right, next is from NGX159. If the Xbox One and PS4 was to fail and both companies left the hardware race, leaving just Nintendo for home consoles and dedicated handhelds, I don't know. Would it be such a bad thing considering how much Sony and Microsoft have changed for the worse? It would be a bad thing because overall sales would be down. It's less systems. I don't know. I don't know if that'd be good for the industry. In my opinion, it would not rid a lot of the corruption and greed in the industry, as well as new hardware makers coming in to rebuild the competition, such as their restored order, and the industry can flourish and innovate once again. Nintendo had a monopoly during the NES days. It was a good thing. Well, there's a lot of opinions in there, and I agree that there is a lot of corruption and greed coming from Nintendo too, even back in the NES days. But things aren't as bad as they are now. There is too much corruption, hence why companies like Bethesda and Activision are filthy rich, and Microsoft and Sony are losing billions and losing millions because they are catering and they are handing out money and handing out money and handing out money to get exclusive DLC, to get timed exclusives, to get map packs first, all this junk, and third parties have just become, they feel they deserve this. You know what I'm saying? Like look at Kojima with Metal Gear. It's coming to the Xbox 360, it's coming to the Xbox One. Why is it coming to the Xbox One? Why is it not coming to the Wii U, which has more of an install base, which has a Japanese install base, which the Xbox One doesn't have, and he's a Japanese developer, yet he's not putting his game on the Wii U. And then we realize, oh yeah, Microsoft did pay because they brought him out on the stage at E3. Microsoft paid for Metal Gear Solid to come to the Xbox One. They paid for that port. I feel that they paid for that port. I think that they did. And you know what? It's just ridiculous that, now that companies are paying for things, it's like, well, we don't need to put stuff on the Nintendo's not giving us nothing. We can just put something on the PS3, Xbox 360, Xbox One, PS4. Sony is paying for exclusive deja vu missions. They're paying for exclusive content. Sony's paying for exclusive content in Assassin's Creed. These third-party companies have been have been used to accepting handouts from other companies, are used to accepting handouts from other companies, and that's what we're getting now. I would love for Valve to come in and be able to change the way that some of these third parties think and just be able to restore some order. Now, having a crash and having Microsoft and Sony get out of the business, I don't know about that. I would just more like for them to learn their lesson and put these third parties in place and stop giving them stuff. Like, Microsoft and Sony are guilty of this because they are giving them money to try to gain a competitive advantage over the other people. Just stop giving them stuff. Just put out the game, and whatever system it sells better on, it sells better on. Have everything be fair and balanced, but it's not like that right now. It's really not like that right now, and it sucks. I would personally, I would love to go back to the NES days where things were balanced, or maybe even Sega and Nintendo where things were just more balanced and you just put out a game for a system and that's what it is. But I mean, who knows? Kaylin Kaiser asks, name your top 10 favorite consoles of all time in order from least to greatest. Oh my gosh. Top 10? I don't have the time to do a top 10 for this. First is Super Nintendo. Second is, it's console, so I can't say. I would say the 3DS, if you're talking about everything. The 3DS is amazing. I love it. It's number 2. And the third would probably be either the Xbox 360 or the PlayStation 2. One of those two consoles would probably be that. Number 4 would probably be the GameCube. And number 5 would be probably the Wii. I'm not sure. I don't like the N64, by the way. Just don't like the system. Alright, so the next question is from Uzumaki Khan, which is also a very cool name. Hey, yeah, I love your videos and would just like to know why do you think Square won't bring Kingdom Hearts 3 to the Wii U? Is it because it can't handle the graphics? It sucks because I'm a huge Kingdom Hearts fan and would love to be able to play it on my Wii U. Also, why? Well, let me answer that question first. Square is not bringing Kingdom Hearts to the Wii U as of right now. Is because Square Enix is in the whole. They're in the Western mindset right now. They are really in the Western mindset. If they were smart, they would bring the game to the Wii U and to the PS4. And maybe if Microsoft could pay them for a port, pay them for a port. But why? I have not seen any inclination from any Microsoft fans that they want to play Kingdom Hearts. Not one. I'm on forums and I'm on messages. I have not seen one person say, you know what, this is great that Kingdom Hearts. They're all talking about Titanfall. And they're all talking about shooters. They're all talking about Call of Duty and Battlefield and Titanfall and Dead Rising and games like that. They're all talking about games like that. They're not talking about other games. They're not talking about Kingdom Hearts.